Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Blackbull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Blackbull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. Get either the Essential Plus or Premium plans absolutely free. All you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Blackbull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. Hey, start trading Forex indices and commodities with up to 800k of Blue Guardian's capital risk-free. Just pay a small one-time fee to take the challenge, hit a profit target and get funded. Then keep up to 90% of your profits and enjoy fast weekly payouts. Now for futures traders, Blue Guardian Futures offers up to 450k in funding with 100% profit on your first 15k. With low targets, no activation fees and unlimited resets, it's one of the best deals in the industry. Visit blueguardian.com or blueguardianfutures.com to start trading today and grab their limited time discount code.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Hope everybody had a great week. I'm back again for another week of breakdowns. This brings trades. Hopefully, again, everybody had a great trading week, and we can go ahead and get into it. Let's see. You guys know me. You know my story by now. If you don't, I'm the resident indices analyst for the Trading Nut podcast. So every week I come on here and do breakdowns for the Trading Nut community and my own community too on the Brinks Trades YouTube channel. So want to go ahead and start going over what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to pull up my screen. So give me guys 1 second here. And then again, if you guys don't know by now, again, also I've been involved in the markets for about 10 years. Started in Forex, made the transition to futures last year. Racked up like 1.72 million in prop firms. What else, man? Yeah, just been a crazy journey. So again, you know, I always want to come on and see where everybody's calling in from. So we got about 19 people on the call. You guys know the drill. See where, I love to see where people are calling in from, where around the world. So we got Tony. Shout out to Tony. He's faithful on this call every week. Grand Rising, Coach Brinks and Traders. Good, I caught you this week. Hugo, what's going on, man? Hugo. Let's see. So while people are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling up the screens. I'm actually going to drop one message in my community real quick. If you guys are in my community, you'll see this real time. But I just want to make sure as many people hop on as possible. And obviously they can watch it again on their own. See videos. Trading Nut podcast. You guys just seen me do this in real time. But yeah, I want to know while I'm doing that, how's everybody's doing? How was everybody's trading week? Did you guys take any wins, losses? How did that go? Let's see, Telegram. Boom. And then let's do the Discord too. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get into it. You guys know by now that I always start with dollar, right? Again, if we get a better understanding of what's going on dollar, we can see what the bigger picture is and kind of go from there. So with that being said, this past week, dollar was a mess. So we actually opened up this week. We've pretty much been trading in this range for the last, since pretty much Christmas, right? We set this initial low around the beginning of December, and then this high was the beginning, like mid-January, and we've just been trading in this range. So last week we had a huge gap, right? And I was trying to coach my community through what to kind of expect when you see gaps like this, right? And a lot of times what inevitably happens in a gap is that the market wants to go retest it. It's called a new week opening gap. So we had pretty much the market close here on dollar at 108.33 and open up here, right? So there's a huge gap up. So pretty much this entire region, right, was our gap. And so we traded a little bit above it, but we have the tendency when there's a gap forming to come back into it. And so, reading these gaps is pretty much like a fair value gap. And like I told my community, right, we want this to stay open. If we're going to be bullish, we want this to kind of somewhat stay open and entirely filled in. So that kind of lets us know that the market could continue to run back down here. And what we actually did was run to another gap in the market on the daily, right, where we closed things out right there, pretty much lined up. So we've been consolidating, right? And if we're looking at this from a weekly perspective, um, this has been a lot of chop. Technically, from a weekly perspective, there's nothing here that says we should be going down trend long term, right? Especially with the way that we closed. Um, and even here, we have technically broken structure once when we took out this high, right, to go higher, but we came right back down and closed blinded. So this is just really chop to me, right? Like this whole range is really just chop. And I would like all of this. And so when you're trading in chop, you got a couple options, right? You can stay out, right? You can not trade, which is an option. It's always an option. It's always a good option too if you can't see anything clearly. But then also what you can do is really look for smaller targets, right? And look for smaller runs in liquidity, like old highs, like this, like that. And so um what I want to see is something clear. And it's just a mess right now, to be honest with you. Um And so I was kind of hoping that we would have got more like kind of direction by the end of the week, but we really closed and it didn't really give us too much more. So I'm kind of sit back on currencies probably this week because I just don't really like a lot of what I'm seeing here. Um, even with this, like this is Euro futures right here. Again, same thing as Euro USD. If you guys are forex traders, you can see this and that, right? Same thing. So the issue that I have again is, you know, and I called this midweek in the community about what I wanted to see happen is I wanted to see the market after, oops, let me go back to 6E1. After the market really kind of opened up here, gapped lower, and really ran out liquidity one last time, I figured we could potentially be going back up um, to really take out buy side liquidity. And so I called this about Wednesday in my chat, and I said I wanted to see the market really stay above this fair value gap. And this is what's called a reclaimed fair value gap, meaning that it initially violated it, inverting it, but then it came back in and closed inside of it. So it's kind of valid again, right? Um, and so the issue that I had here is I wanted to see the market kind of retest this, maybe trade to consequent encroachment, and then go higher. And right now it's just chopping around, right? It came back up here, violated it, uh, inverted it, respected it, and now it's back to inverting it again. So this is really kind of just chop that I don't really want to participate in the markets. And I want to get a very clear understanding of this trend before I really hop in. And to be honest, I mean, there's nothing here that I really want to see. Um, or that I really want to mess around with because I can't really call a direction. And so when you can't call a direction, I could sit here and say, well, if it retests this, then I want to do this, or if it does this, then I want to do this. But I can't clearly say we're running to this liquidity or running to this liquidity. So I need to stay out. Now, bigger picture, if we look at the weekly time frame, right? I mean, we're still very much in a downtrend. And so there's an idea here that we could still continue to go lower, and we really haven't broken anything on a weekly level yet on Euro futures or Euro USD. So we could still see this drop, right? But there's a lot of chop that's going on the daily, and I just need more clarity. So these type of situations I do not want to participate in until I get some type of clear trend, right? And so most traders, really struggle in chop, and usually this is where you give back your account, right? This is where you give back your wins. This is where you give back your like any, huge run that we had. Like if you look here, I mean, this was a 6 months of just pretty easy to call out chop. Maybe there was a couple weeks where the market was, acting up a little bit where we didn't have great price action, but for the most part, we had 6 months of just drop. And so this is a very easy thing to call out. When you have a trend, it's easy to call out what the draw on liquidity is. A lot of times it's hard to do that when this thing starts chopping. So for me, I'm going to be staying away from currencies this week. I'm probably going to be looking at something more like future or indices, only because it's just not there right now. Same thing with GBP USD. Again, I can kind of call out on a weekly level that the market still wants to go lower, right? Like we still have not broken structure. We did violate this civvy and we have respected it. But at the same time, if I clear this out for you guys, you guys can see. At the same time, we had this civvy here on British pound futures, again, GBP USD, same thing. And we're still in a downtrend. We haven't broken structure yet, but we did violate this. And on the retest, this is now becoming an inverted fair value gap, and we're still respecting it. So this could speak to a longer term bullish move, but we still have not really violated any structure here that would cause us to like really think in terms of a shift or break in structure. So we could still see this drop. We also ended the week kind of running out last week's high right here. So we ran off the high right there where we know there's going to be buy side and still took things, and closed back in that range. So I can honestly make a call that says this can go lower or higher. And so I don't want to sit here and project things. We're looking for that next week and there's a chance that it couldn't play out. So I want clear, easy trends, right? Like you don't get more brownie points for trading in difficulty than you do just sitting out. So what I want to see happen next week is for a clear trend either way. Like I need to see some clarity in the markets. I don't even really want to call out lower 1 hour, 5 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute targets that we could hit. But usually that's what I would do is I would take things day by day and I would look at the liquidity that's kind of building each day on the smaller time frames and then kind of make a decision on how I want to attack that day. But just because there's no chop here or there's all chop here, I don't really want to play with that at all. Looking at some other currencies though, I want to look at yen currencies. Now this is pretty much the same thing as USD JPY. It's just inverted. So I'll look at this one really quickly again for people that trade Forex, USD JPY. So I think there might be some good stuff here. This week, again, very much like the other currencies, we're trading in a range, right? We are trading pretty much in a range between this swing high and this swing low point. And so ideally, again, very much like the other ones, we're trading back into this civvy here. If we violate this, then I'm looking at this low right here to get hit. That sell side, which is about a 200 or 300 point run on the weekly. So that's kind of the only thing that I can really see. I think we could have a clear shot down there if we invert that weekly fair value gap. And that should be, I mean, a 200 point run should be enough to really capitalize or find something on that you can take advantage of. But that's the only thing that I really see on currencies that I would maybe potentially take advantage of. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to indices, and this is probably going to be my focus this week. I'm not really seeing too much on currencies that I like. So coming into futures last week, futures. I keep saying futures. Coming into currencies, indices. Yeah, I gotta get it right, man. Coming into indices last week, we saw a couple things, right? So if we go back a week, I said to everybody that I wanted to see the market potentially retest this inverted fair value gap one last time. I'm sorry, this regular fair value gap one last time and take things higher. I was looking at things from a weekly perspective and I was like, okay, cool. There is the opportunity for this to really go lower and then take things off and go to the high. It's been crazy choppy. This has been, oops. Let me do this. It's been crazy choppy on NQ lately. And so this is just mess. So like when you're trading in this, it's again, this you can get away with trading in chop a little bit better on indices than you can on currencies because the runs are so large that you can frame out something on a smaller time frame as a target, and you're really just kind of taking things day by day. But you can really look for a quick draw in liquidity, but in these market conditions, you're not looking for home runs. Like there's no home runs to be hit here. Everything is pretty much like, what's my, closest draw in liquidity? Like what's a 1 minute swing I can hit? What's a 5 minute swing, a 15 minute swing? I'm not trying to hit home runs that are going to take out, daily highs and stuff like that. So we've had like a lot of gaps recently, and that's contributed to the chop. So ideally what I wanted to see last week was this, right? And again, if we go back a week to last Friday, again, this is what I wanted to see is the market retest. And what we actually got here was something similar. We gapped down, I think, again, to start the week off. It's hard to even see the gap in this chop, but we gapped down another time to start the week, and we pretty much gapped to the bottom, to the midpoint of that weekly fair value gap. And a lot of times when this happens, people get scared of the gap. They see this, they just kind of want to stick out or stay out. But all this was just kind of like our manipulation down, right? And so you kind of have to look at it like that. But because we opened up with a gap, right? Again, the same thing on, just like we talked about on dollar, right? We have a new week opening gap right here. And so how I was looking at this on Monday is I wanted to see how this filled. Because if we filled this entirely, then there's probably a good chance we're going to keep running up, right? And that's exactly what we got. So coming into Tuesday, we ended up taking out these highs, trading into this fair value gap, and then Monday we got Friday we got a huge retracement back to the high of this gap, where we closed. And so what happened is we actually kind of set ourselves up for a couple things this week. There is these relative equal highs that are sitting right here. So I think at some point, obviously, we will come back up here and take that out. Everything is just crazy choppy right now. Like this is pretty much all of the price action that we've had since December. It's just choppiness. And so I don't really like it too much, to be honest with you. But I think if you are going to take trades in this, there's more setups you can find in chop trading indices than there are in currencies. So what I'll be looking for is, I'm still bullish, right? But I'm taking things day by day. I'm really looking for each day's draw in liquidity. I think long term, I want to see the market come back up here. So maybe we dig down into that gap again and take things higher. But I'm really going to be looking, instead of looking long term, like the weekly trend, I'm really going to be looking at what each day, like what the draw in liquidity is, and seeing if we can find something that goes with that. Because there's just a lot here. There's a lot here that you can really get caught up in. And so I don't really want to try to swing for the fences on this. But ideally, this is what I'm looking at. So we have a fair value gap here on the 4 hour. This is the 4 hour time frame. We have a SIBI here. I want to see how we react to this, because the market's going to come back up into this. So I can see us digging a little further and then being bullish until this range. And if we invert this, then I'm looking for this to get back to the highs, but just not the best market conditions right now. Let's see. Let's go to ES. Let me go to the comment section really quickly. This is probably going to be the quickest call I've ever done because there's not a lot that I like in the markets right now, to be honest. Let's go to ES. Oops. Let's refresh that. While we're doing that, I'm gonna hit the comment section really quickly. Why is this so tight? Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. Is the 15-minute a good entry time frame than the 5-minute? So I do want to make the disclaimer that I'm not giving you guys entry advice, right? Like I'm looking at these time frames and I answer on there's a few different time frames that I look at for getting into a trade. I go over that in full with my students. So if you join the community, then I'll go over with that more fully. But there's a huge checklist of things that I go through, and the 15-minute is one time frame that I look at. The 5-minute is another, 3-minute, the 1-minute, depending on what I'm trading. So there's a set list of rules that I look at when I get into trades every single time. So I'm gonna stop sharing this real quick and then share this one instead and see if this works. Someone said US30. So we'll touch on US30. Just know that US30 is the Dow Jones when it comes to futures. So when I pull up YM, this one right here, it's going to be the same thing as what you're seeing on US30. But going back to Dow ES, again, same thing. It's a lot of chop here. Lots of chop. Like this is ridiculous. So last week, what we wanted to see was the market, same thing, come in, retest this and go higher. What we've gotten here, though, is, I'm going to erase some of this stuff because a lot of this is me drawing on the charts. And again, if your trading mentor does not have a dirty trading view on Fridays, then he probably wasn't trading. So ideally, coming into this, what we wanted to see was the market retest and go higher, and we started to get that. Again, just like the other ones, we had a huge weekly gap where we closed there and opened down there, and we mitigated that. So I'm going to jump down to the 4-hour just so you guys can see that a little bit clearer. Close there, open there. This is our weekly gap. Again, I figured that when we started to fill in trade around consequent encroachment of that gap on Monday, that we were probably going to go out and take that out. So we ended up doing that, and then we ended up closing the week trading back into this gap here. Yeah, closing right there. So ideally, I'm going to be taking this day by day until we really start to get a bigger trend. But I'm looking at liquidity, same thing as on ES, this fair value gap to the high. If we're going to be bullish, then I want to see this invert, maybe dig a little bit deeper to consequent encroachment of this, and then take things higher. And I'll really be looking at this gap to see how we trade there. If we invert this, then cool. I'm looking at the high last week, but it's just kind of, you're taking things day by day, and you're not really looking for, I'm not trying to hit the home runs, and I'm not trying to hit the big things. I'm just trying to look for short opportunities in the market where I can get in and get out. So let's look at the weekly time frame on YM. Again, this is going to be the same thing as US30. So if I pull up US30 for the guy that asked, this is YM. Let me zoom out. This is YM. This is US30. It's the same chart, right? It's just one is for futures, one is for Forex. So let me get rid of this. Again, coming in last week, we wanted to see the same thing. We wanted to see this market rise. This is a little bit more. This one was easier, a little bit easier to read because we violated this order block on this breaker, and we were trading past the mean threshold of that. So we could take things a little bit higher. Is what I thought. But we were still trading this overall fair value gap, this SIBI right there. So I wanted to see this invert and potentially take out the highs. I think we'll still get to the highs eventually, but that's kind of what I was looking at. And so we were trading between two gaps, right? This bigger one right up there, but this SIBI that was there. So ideally, what I want to see, man, is we pretty much have mitigated this entire gap and then rejecting down. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come down here and then maybe potentially look to take things higher, right? But I'll just kind of be reacting off of, like, again, same thing as this one. I'll be looking at smaller time frames to see how we're reacting here. And to be honest, I don't even trade US30. It's not the one that I look at. But I could see a draw on liquidity being this lower up here and really running to that, especially since we mitigated this. So I'll be looking for that. And then once we get here, whether we go up again, cool. But there's a lot of chop here, so I don't want to over project, but I can see us running to this low on US30. But again, this is chop, and this is my best educated guess, but I would like to say long term, looking at the weekly, we'd still find our way back up there. So that's what I'll be looking at. But I think we'll come down, start the week here, and potentially make the rise. But I'll be looking exactly at this fair value gap to see if we maintain this. If we have a hard time maintaining this or we invert this, then I'm looking at this low for us to run to, kind of clear the board out. So I wouldn't mind if it did this, because this is a very easier draw on liquidity than this up here, meaning that there's less stuff that could hinder the price between where we're sitting at right there and there versus like trying to fight through this inverted fair value gap right there and then trying to get through that one to get to the high and then still figuring out what this order block's doing, right? So like there's a lot of stuff there. So I wouldn't mind if this fell. I think this will be an easier trade or easier setup. But I think as of now, we're still kind of heading up. So I want to see that go higher. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for US30. That's all I really got for you guys this week. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to put them in the box. I got a little time today, so feel free to hit me with these questions. Again, shameless plug, if you guys are new to me and the way that I trade, you should definitely join my free community, right? It's called the Profit Playbook, right here. Right. And basically, this is a free community where people can come on. You guys can see updated analysis throughout the week, right? And then there's also a premium community, which is, that's the free. Well, the one is free, but the other one is, where I work with mentorship students directly. It's all living in the same chat. But the mentorship students, the paid mentorship students, are also existing there. And I do live trading 3 days a week. You guys can see me kind of take these strategies and kind of look at my thought process in the markets. Last week, I was on there 3 days. I ended up clearing 5K in positions last week. So that was a cool week. But, again, it's not really about the money. It's more about the thought process there and being able to kind of like see how I take trades and how I do things. Because at the end of the day, everybody that comes to my community, I want them to be independent traders, because I'm not going to be trading forever, right? So like, I'm not going to be trading publicly or teaching forever. I'll probably trade forever, but I'm not going to be teaching forever. So I want to make sure that I you give everybody that I teach like the tools to be able to do this themselves. And after a while, you watch me for like a month, you kind of see the same processes over and over and over again. I got a few different models that I look at and basically how I use these tools and read price on what they should do. So um, that's pretty much a service that I have for, again, both the paid and the free community. The paid community also comes with a course too, so they get access to a course online. But if you just want to be in a community where there's a lot of there's traders and there's somebody that's kind of just at least giving you an outlook on what they think on price, it's definitely an opportunity for y'all to hop in there. So here is the link. You guys can join that for free right now. And then again, if you ever want to be part of the mentorship, the ongoing mentorship, that is cool. We actually, again, live trading. We have the course itself that's listed on Whoop. And then on Sundays, actually starting this Sunday, we're going to have a weekly call where I go over concepts. I go over trades that I've taken in the market and kind of help people with the questions that they have, because I feel like that is the part that a lot of people get tripped up on. So and really just like I know what a market structure is, right? Or I know what a high and low, or I know what a fair value gap is, or like, but they don't really know how to apply all those things and how to read things in context, right? Because a tool is just a tool until you can put some context behind it, right? So um that is what I help them with on the weekly. So hopefully you guys get some enjoyment out of that. But yeah, follow me there, and then I got time for questions. So if I got about 5 minutes, so if you have a question, drop it in the box, or you can always hit me in that community. The cool thing about that Discord versus what I was doing before on the Telegram is the the fact that you guys can talk back to me, right? So the Telegram that I was using before, it was just me talking out and nobody can really talk back. But you can literally get in that community, ask questions, ask, things. It's just a regular Discord chat. So hopefully y'all enjoy that. Hopefully y'all take advantage of that. And there's a bunch of stuff in there for you guys. So if you have any questions, y'all know where to find me. So again, I got 2 minutes, so fire away with any questions. Someone said Bitcoin. I'm just not seeing this. I'll look at Bitcoin. I don't really trade Bitcoin, to be honest with you. But let's look at it. I wonder if you could plug in your Coinbase. Does anybody know if you could trade Coinbase, like link your Coinbase account to Bitcoin? Like, I don't even know if that's a thing. Like, can you do that? All brokers. No, I guess not. Whatever. All right, anyway, so just curious. But Bitcoin. I don't really trade this at all. Someone asked me to look at this last year, and I said that there was a huge fair value gap that we were respecting, that we wanted to see the market run to. The problem that I have with Bitcoin is that it doesn't it's 24 hours a day, which is kind of exhausting to watch. So it's a little different. I really wouldn't want to be day trading it, to be honest. Sell side. Go to the monthly. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of experience trading this, so I don't want to like quote anybody anything, but this is chop right here. It's just a lot of chop. Usually when there's chop, it means the market wants to run for something before it goes higher. So we took out this high there, just very narrowly. Took out that high. I would be looking here. I would want to know how the market respects this. But then I would want to see us potentially get down here. Ew. Yeah, I mean, I'd be looking at this level here at 95,761. See how we react to that. If we fail to stay above that, then I'm looking right here. Maybe a sweep, right, for it to go lower and go higher. But it really depends on how we respect that. So I'll come back in a week. Whoever asked that question, come back on the call next week and let's look at it. I just won't look. I don't trade Bitcoin. I don't even think about crypto at all. So I won't even think about it until next week. Yeah, appreciate your time. It'll be a great week. Hopefully it will be a great week. It will be a great week next week. So let's make it count. I want to look at Forex Factory really quickly and then I'll hop off this call. See what's going on for next week. I always tell myself that I'm going to go over fundamentals and just see what the news releases are for next week. So Tuesday, the Bank of England governor speaks. Tuesday, Fed Chair Powell testifies. That's great. Wednesday, Fed Chair Powell testifies. Yeah, this is not going to be a week I'm going to be in the markets a lot. I might look at things on Thursday. I might look at things on Friday. I don't really want to be in the markets when he's testifying. So Thursday might be the day that I really try to trade a lot. There's CPI, PPI. Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't even want to be near that. Bank of England and honestly, that makes sense why the market's been consolidating, because the Fed chair for America and the Fed chair basically for England will speak. So then that kind of makes sense why there's been no volatility in the markets. So I probably, for my community, I know I probably said I'd trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I might just kind of hold it until Thursday and then see what's going on with that. Because I don't want to be anywhere near Fed Chair Powell talking at all. So, yeah. So maybe Thursday will be a good day. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Hope you have a good week. Again, follow me on. You can stay locked in on any social media account that brings trades, but also follow me on the big profit playbook. If you guys want to see updated analysis throughout the week, it's free. It literally takes you 2 seconds to follow. It doesn't cost you anything. So join that link, right? And you get access to the Discord right there. So peace.
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Blackbull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Blackbull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. Get either the Essential Plus or Premium plans absolutely free. All you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Blackbull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. Hey, start trading Forex indices and commodities with up to 800k of Blue Guardian's capital risk-free. Just pay a small one-time fee to take the challenge, hit a profit target and get funded. Then keep up to 90% of your profits and enjoy fast weekly payouts. Now for futures traders, Blue Guardian Futures offers up to 450k in funding with 100% profit on your first 15k. With low targets, no activation fees and unlimited resets, it's one of the best deals in the industry. Visit blueguardian.com or blueguardianfutures.com to start trading today and grab their limited time discount code.